She's now at the high school, and she works, she's a member of the Boys and Girls Club working with Markwell, our leader over there, and we just wanted to present her a certificate of appreciation on the 6th day of April 2021 in grateful recognition of her dedication to the city of New Albany, Mississippi through her hard work and leadership. She was elected, voted, nominated to be our New Albany Boys and Girls Club representative. She was the North Mississippi Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year, so that's pretty exciting. She's done amazing things so far. We know she's got a lot of cool things ahead of her, and we're just really thankful that she's in our community. Tell them how amazing you are. That's all.
Thank you all for allowing me to be here tonight. About 2 weeks ago, I participated in the youth cheer competition for the New Albany Boys and Girls Club. It's an award for a prestigious student, academic excellence, healthy lifestyle, just overall an amazing student. And I got to compete against the district, which is the Tupelo Boys and Girls Club, the Ripley, and the what's the other one? Oxford. And so I happened to I auditioned for state, and I made it to the finalists. So I was one of the top 4 in the state for the Boys and Girls Club. But just thank you all for the support of the Boys and Girls Club. It's an awesome place to go for kids, a very safe environment. It's more than just a place for kids to come and play. We actually take time to do daily programs, education, so there's a lot of things that the students can learn there. Thank you all.
Thank you, Markwell, for all you do.
No problem. Okay, departmental business. We'll move to that. Mr. Maddox, you the first.
First couple items I'd like to provide together the pay request for the wastewater plant. Again, the plant the progress is moving along very well. We're expecting bring that plant online probably August, maybe 3 September, so it is right on schedule as far as the contract goes. The first item, the first pay request is K-Gas Construction, and then out of $577,166.48. And then a pay request also to Engineering Solutions for $23,779.
We'll do them together.
Yes, it was good.
I got a motion by Johnny. I have a second. Second by Amy. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
The next item is part of our electric bond project. We're doing some upgrades to our Butler Street or Northwest substation. We're hoping to, or we are going to create a circuit that's going to serve downtown and some surrounding areas. It's going to hopefully improve reliability for the downtown area. Associated with that, we need to buy these voltage regulators. We've got to do some work in the substation first before we can get the circuit going. And we need to advertise for voltage regulators for this project. And we think it's going to be somewhere, it's going to be in excess of $200,000. Something has to be advertised and go that route.
Have a motion by Kevin Dale. I have a second. Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Y'all gave us permission to disperse with some surplus equipment at an equipment auction at the fairgrounds last month. We had 2 Ford F-150s and part of the Bush Hog. The total price we got for all 3 items was $2,627.25. And I would consider the condition of the equipment, I was well pleased with that amount. Yeah, I'm supposed to report that back, right?
Right, no motion, just, transparency.
The next item, we would like permission to order some trucks on the state contract. We need 3 half-ton trucks and a 1-ton truck. The issue that we may run into, I'm not verifying this, but just because of supply chain issues kind of across the country with what we've had the last year, they may have moved the cutoff dates on the state contract. Usually we can order through the end of summer. I've heard we may not be able to place an order until later in the year, which would put them much later coming in. I guess my first option is to try to order off state contract. If we see that's not going to work, I would like to have the option to obtain quotes on some state contract type trucks, just plain trucks. If we have to go that route, we comply with all the purchasing laws. We get the mayor to verify, and then I would report back at the next board meeting of what we found in the trucks. But I hope I can still get through the state contract.
Motion by Amy, second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We'll give an update on a couple of projects out of the municipal building. That is out to bid right now. It's been out for about 2 weeks. Bids are due back on May the 4th, which will be the first Tuesday in May. Obviously, there's not going to be enough time to award any bids at that time. It'll probably take at least 2 weeks to go through the bids and kind of see where they come in and how we want to proceed, with the project, either in part or in total. So I would anticipate sometime in mid-May, we'll have some discussion about that. We may have to have a special meeting, depending on how price sensitive some of these bids are. The architect said to get either if we wait until the 1st of June with some of the price volatility, there may be some increases that come by then. But during the month of May, we should come back with the bids and have, we'll know what we want to do. We'll develop a plan in May. So I'll give y'all an update on next month, and then maybe in a couple of weeks we can get something decided on what to do. On the water system, the main thing we've done recently is change some of the operational things. I think most of y'all are aware of kind of what we're doing with just really set on top of chlorine, phosphates, and we changed our flushing program. Kind of the next step for us is start changing pipes out. We've got a lot of really old pipes, especially on the north side of town and the south side, just out the older parts of town. We've got a lot of older pipes in the ground. What I intended to do was apply for a community development block grant. Did basically $600,000 grant. We're trying to coordinate that. Again, all the time schedules, when you apply, and all the deadlines are all out of whack from normal. So we're going to see when we can fit in that schedule to apply for a block grant. Obviously, we'll come back and get your approval when it's time to go. But I'd like to see if we can get a block grant and then pair that with maybe some state revolving loan fund money. We'd have to pay it back, but it's very low interest rates. And we'll put a plan together to start changing out some of the pipes. On the north side right now, and I know we're aware of probably a mile or so, which would, you can eat up $1 million pretty quick when we start changing the pipe out. But, we try to get about $1.5 to $2 million project. And if we get that cycle with those block grants every couple of years, it'll take 10 years. We'll look up in 10 years and we'll have a lot of these old pipes changed out. And I think that'll really help with water quality in older areas.
How many of those pipes are in the street?
All
of them? There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, they're going to be in or crossing, so there will be street work that has to go along with it. And again, that may be one of the things we just need to try to budget street work when we do the pipe change out. And probably before y'all do with the paving program, I think we tried to this time. Look at the streets that are on the plan. Obviously, we don't want to, like we have on Island Street, we don't want to pave the street and come back and rip it up and put it on. It's great that you water pipe, and then you got streets.
Yeah, we've got to make sure.
We just need to make sure we coordinate those.
What are your dirty water falls like right now?
They've really been down, really with these past 4 years, time compared to the time frame before that. I don't have a total number, but and when we get the calls now, we can usually trace down, trace it back to a roof cause. Either there's been a house fire, there's been a main break, somebody's dug into the line.
And Scotty's done a great job this town.
I agree. Scotty Smith's done a great job of kind of getting involved around that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. On our primary substation, we're looking to redo our substation across from high school. We're still in the design phase on that. Our engineers are working with TVA, and again, there's a lot of red tape anytime we do something with TVA. So there's still a lot of background work going on with that. We hope to have, that, I guess it was probably late 2022, early part of 2023 is when we help right now.
And that'll help with all the power going on?
Yeah, it'll make it where we can manage the outages a lot better. Again, the way that substation is an old design of the substation, so when something goes wrong, it tends to knock out an entire circuit or even an entire substation. And when we get the new substation with new controls and the way it's going to be grounded, we'll be able to, if there will be outages, we'll be able to isolate the smaller areas instead of knocking out, all the north side and all the downtown. We can sectionalize it, to a smaller area, and we'll have AMI and some intelligence on the grid, so the point is where the outage is instead of just having to ride the whole circuit. So even when we do have outages, we hope that the improvements we have in this bond project will make it restore. It'll give us the ability to restore the power quickly.
Okay, 2022?
Yeah, late 22, early 23.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We're into the vote.
I emailed my reports to y'all yesterday, and I think, Amy, you wanted to talk about street signs?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just wanted to know.
Well, it's, we've gotten to the point now where some of our street signs, we need a maintenance program on them, and my group is trying to figure out a way of identifying the street signs, replacing the ones that need to be replaced, and there's not a real good system going right now, so we're in the process of trying to find that perfect system to identify the street signs. I have asked Oliver Seaboat, the transportation component of the Orion Group, to help me with a wayfinding sign proposal so that, and we might include these street signs in that proposal, just to kind of get the ball rolling and going.
And you're talking about street name signs, not stop
Yeah, I mean,
signs.
we're replacing some street signs, and as soon as we replace them, they're missing within a month.
Because people take them.
Yes, so what we've got now is not working. So we need to reevaluate that
Okay.
and look at it.
Johnny, what y'all do in the past? Will, I remember you mentioned.
No, just no hang with the S hooks. Yeah. Find a different way to hang them, because it's easy to.
It's just on an S hook now,
Yeah.
so you can just
Yeah.
flip them
It's
off.
so easy to
Yeah. But if we're looking at proposals for wayfinding signs, we might put this in with it and look for grants to pay for all of it. There's grants that will pay for wayfinding and signage, so
Okay.
anyway.
So do you need?
It's on our radar.
Yeah, do you need anything from us though to help with that?
No, just when it comes down to who's gonna identify where we need replacements and
Yeah,
stuff.
and which ward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
stop,
it.
and there's several stop signs I know we mentioned in that email, stop signs need to be replaced, but we usually just tell Tim that and he tells me. But I've noticed in my ward, a lot of those have been replaced.
Yeah.
But it's on the way.
Yeah, if you say one is obvious, it's technically or something.
Yeah.
Are posts on the street signs, okay, as far as y'all know, the post part of it?
The post,
Yeah, the
no,
post.
a lot of them are,
Rusty.
they're metal, they're rusty.
Rust.
Yeah, so the whole system needs to be revamped, really.
You're talking about the bronze ones, the new bronze.
Some of them have lasted and others are just flaking away.
Thank you for
Yeah.
this.
What?
We had some definite.
Oh, there may be a couple of them.
Is that considered infrastructure?
Well, the stop sign, but not a pole.
Not the poles and.
They're worth about 500 feet.
But I was meaning under like, I'm thinking of money.
Oh.
Yeah.
That may be a grant.
I don't know. Thinking within that.
Okay, Chief, Brian, you don't have anything?
I don't have anything on it, Mr.
All right,
Mayor.
Fire department.
Mayor, Board, I'll try to keep it brief. Got a couple of things. First thing is, let everybody know, so you can tell the folks in the board, we are starting hydrants this month. The misconception is that we turn them on and flush them. We don't. The water department and Bill and Scotty have a system for that. So you can tell them, don't be concerned about us turning the hydrant on. We take the caps off, we oil them, we check them, and then this fall we're going to paint them. So if anybody asks, we're not turning hydrants on. The second thing is I sent you some information on this. I hope you have a chance to see it. Last year we started talking about the expansion of Station 2 with the growth of our fire department and also with the concerns of COVID and distancing with our guys. And we originally had said we wanted to do a turnkey project where we just bid it out and we did that and we wouldn't have to touch it. However, after COVID and the pricing and the way everything's been going, the mayor, Eric, and I sat down and talked, and we feel like that we can act as our own contractor with Eric being the main one would be our contact from start to finish project. And what we'll do is we will subcontract our projects out. We'll buy our own materials, and we feel like that we can shop it and buy our own materials and cut out a middleman and save the money. And we really would like to start on that and go with that direction. I've got some numbers if you need them. I've got everything broken down. Originally, and then we said last week, we said what we'll do is we will just worry about the concrete, the dirt work, and the steel building. Because we were told, said, look, you better do something, the steel is going up. It's gone up $5,000 just from when we started, and it went up $2,000 this week. And so we said, we'll just start at the shell. Well, we went out, and Eric and I were talking to some contractors, and they were talking about the price of the wire going up, just the wire to it. And it's gone up so much, it's going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to afford it. And so what we want to do is an overall project price that we have, and we want to start buying our materials. And the biggest thing we're going to get quotes from, which we already have, is for the labor. And, if there's any questions or concerns, I wish you would ask them, and I hope that the information I've already given you was clear.
Hopefully, some of this COVID relief money can be used.
Yeah, that's another
But
part.
we don't know, according to Three Rivers, the Treasury Department set the
Yeah,
guidelines.
that's
We
another
don't
thing,
know.
we've heard the rumors, and read where the COVID relief money's coming. Until we get it, I know that's not a guarantee. And until we get the guidelines, there's no guarantee that we can. We would like to think that emergency services and COVID prevention would be involved in that. And so our other request would be that if the money does come through, we would like to be considered for some of that money to be put back into the fire department fund for the materials and the labor, because what we're doing is we're actually spreading out the way the guys sleep. And I've got pictures, and like I said, I'm not going to bog you down, I'll be more than happy to leave them. But pictures of the way they sleep, they sleep 2.5 feet apart. I mean, you can literally reach over and touch the person sleeping next to you, and we would like to be able to distance a little more. What we're looking at, we're not looking at a building that 5 years from now we're going to say, well, we wasted our money. That building we're in now is 24 years old, and we would like to think with what we're doing now that 24 years from now, whoever's here in our places and your places can say, at least they were thinking ahead. Because we've got room in it up above if they do need to grow, or they can go up with it if they need more room, more office space or whatever. And so we've got that in there, it just won't be finished, but in the future if they need it, it's there. The folks actually inside the fire department had come to me and they said, look, let's talk about doing some of the labor ourselves. A lot of this stuff we can do. In our past remodels, we did our own labor. And so a lot of them have said we can do our own labor and save money there. And they've come to us actually and offered that. So we're looking at maybe doing some of the smaller projects ourselves and cutting on labor there. The folks that lived in that station are the ones that have designed it. There's nothing fancy. There's no big whistles or bells or expensive items. It's a very practical and useful building is what they've designed. And the guys there actually designed it from the ground up. And so what we've got is we've got ownership and buy-in and a commitment from our folks. And there's a lot of pride when they do that, and we think it'll make a difference.
So are you asking the board today to merely move forward and start collecting bids, or are you asking for them to approve bids?
Well, we did not bid it. We asked for quotes. We're doing everything else. So what I'm asking for is for us to accept the quotes and the overall project price and move forward so we can actually start buying materials and get this price locked in on the concrete, the dirt work, and the steel building.
What is your overall contract project cost?
$180,199.
Okay, so that's what we're aiming for.
Right.
But as far as the individual bids, have you advised the board what those are?
I have. I actually sent fresh numbers this morning on where we were at today because they did change this week.
Okay, for all bids, $550, we got at least 2 bids, you give them both.
We took quotes on everything. Everything we're looking at, including safe rooms. We've got 2 safe rooms that we're going to put in each station.
Okay.
Everything has had two quotes, and Eric took care of those firsthand. Everybody's local that's going to be working on our stuff.
Okay.
We're trying that too.
My only concern is this, is that normally when we take bids or quotes, we kind of keep the public informed by bringing those into the meeting and have some specifics. I realize you may have a long list here because you've broken this up into a lot of individual projects. So I don't want to make you necessarily read out everyone, but I want to make sure that they're in the minutes.
All right, I've got a copy to give Frank.
Okay, gotcha.
I've got all our quotes and all the numbers and all the information right here. including, who we've contacted that might not have contacted us back to give us a price.
Okay.
So do we need to vote to go ahead?
But the total is $160,000.
$180,199, and that's based off the numbers as of this morning.
Is that, do you have bids for all the different phases of that project?
I do.
So that is a number based on
That's the
the low
number.
bids, or
Right.
low quotes? Okay.
Question, now you're gonna pay for it out of the fire protection fund and then hopefully get reimbursed back with some of the carriers.
Some of it, and,
That's
you
what
know,
we're at.
what I was looking at, I think, 50,000 of, the money, if it comes back, that would be the number I would ask for. Now, if the board decided more, we're not gonna turn anything away. But, that fund is the fire protection fund, is a well-protected fund, and it's an investment for the future, and that's what we're asking the court to come out of. And we'll be okay to do that. And I've got the overall number for that also for Frankie to be able to tell you, you guys what it is and put it in the minutes too if it's needed. The biggest concern is material prices. I mean, it's getting unbelievable.
So if we don't go ahead and vote, they can.
It's gonna go up. And we actually thought, well, when COVID started, we said, let's wait. Let's let stuff settle down. And stuff has not settled down, and now they're telling us, hang on, because the ride's going to get rough. And we're concerned. We're afraid that we're going to end up wasting money to run the show and be the contractor for the city and then subcontract out. And we're going to shop and buy our materials best we can and get some of it before it goes up and get it in storage before we do need it.
And Reagan, legally, we can do that without taking bids on contractor. We can let Eric.
He's got quotes, everything's under 50,000.
Everything
He's
is.
got quotes on everything that requires.
The overall project is not under 50.
Right.
The building.
But the individual
Yeah, but,
subcontract.
the way we've got it set up, and the main reason is nothing more than, it would be easier for us just to turn key and tell them, here it is, let us know when it's done. But, economically, I try to treat the fire department like I do my own finances, and I wouldn't do this in my personal life, so I'm not gonna ask the city and the people that we serve, to pay extra just because we want to put in the extra work. And the guys that come to me, and they're all for it, they're ready, and some of them are leaving in retirement the next couple of years, and this will be part of their legacy they leave behind. They'll know that this was something they left for the future for the city.
My last question, will you be able to submit all those to Frankie tomorrow, particularly for the newspapers in case they want to see what?
I can't hear it up.
So we've got in excess of 800,000 in the fire protection fund now, so we should be good.
That's great.
I've got a motion by Johnny to move forward with the total project, and you do the individual quotes.
And I'll keep this board well informed of every move we make on this one.
And choosing the low bids on which.
Yeah.
All mentioned in the deal.
All right, I got a motion by Johnny, second by any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We appreciate
Thank
everything
you,
you guys
Chief.
done for us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Eric, looks like you're next.
We have the monthly report this morning. We had a zoning meeting, request from the Albany Fire Department for a variance and siding requirement was approved. We had a request from Mary Harrison at 315 East Bankhead to rezone from R2 to C2. It was approved. And a request from Regal Truck Stop on Highway 30 West for the variance in the parking lot requirements. It was approved by a conditional variance for 6 months.
Two questions. One, on Miss Harrison, where's that from?
Right above Trio Sales and Sunflower, that big house right there.
Next house, so
Yeah.
okay. And then Regal, are they gonna have access to Munchford or no?
If they meet our guidelines on the paving and stuff to get it, to meet basically the specs on the road, they've got to, to tie into us. We're not gonna allow them to do it unless they do it, so they won't tear our road up.
Okay.
I have a question, Eric, too, on
Is
the
there a strip of
one.
land in there
Oh, sorry.
that they don't?
They bought that.
They did
They
that,
bought
okay.
that.
I'm sorry. So on East Bankhead, on that one, if the person who's proposing to put a business there doesn't do it, and we rezoned it to commercial, so anybody could buy it and make it commercial.
Right, or it could stay residential until it was actually occupied by.
So if this particular thing doesn't go through, it stays residential.
No, it would be commercial, but it could still be used as residential as long as a commercial is occupied, don't occupy.
Got it.
Okay. I need to set a hearing for the May the 4th meeting to rezone that property at 315 right here.
Yeah, May 4th. A motion by Will, I have a second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, update agenda, which is a railroad bridge repair on Snyder and Starling Avenue, 30 traffic light. No updates on that. Consent agenda is approval of correction of claims documents for March, approval of minutes from March, and approved bond files from Walker Jones to Watkins. Yeah, you don't want to explain that one to that?
Yeah, our bond council moved.
Yeah.
Keeping him on all active projects.
Okay. All right, we'll do all three of these at once. Consent agenda. Motion approved.
You did a motion, you just need to say they will pass on.
Okay.
Consider nobody objects.
Let's see if anybody objects, that's what, y'all understand on the bond council, everybody do that. Okay, action agenda, Rudy?
Yes, sir.
Looks like you may be, tell us what to do. Bill, where'd Bill go?
Yeah, Bill, do you have anything? I just want to add a little bit of clarity on what you guys are, is in front of you tonight to what action is needed. I just sent each one of you an email because I see you all have your computers. Projector rolling, which is no big deal. The third slide, you guys can check it out now if you want to. You can check it out after the meeting. I think this is what you care about, which is the finances of the project. And based on where the financing, the lease purchase financing bids came in, I believe Ms. Rankin did come in at 2.3.
Yeah.
That is a bank in Albany, local bank, really supporting the city here. Low interest rate, 2.3%. So I wanted to show you guys some updated financials. Overall project cost is $1.46 million paid, so over 17 years, what does that look like? You guys are going to have guaranteed savings of $109,000 a year. And based on 17 years at 2.3%, that's $106,000 every year for your debt service. The project's paying for itself. In the first year, you guys are putting back almost $4,000 in the budget on what you used to spend versus what you used to spend on a tree light bill with all upgraded lights. Actions tonight, Mr. Russell was kind enough to go ahead and review the contracts. So the installation contract and the energy savings contracts, I think we're pretty much good to go on terms and conditions when it comes to those. Our team owes him the exhibits, which is the map behind all the savings, and then what's called a map book. So it's a GIS map of each street light, what kind of light will be there, what kind of light used to be there, all that information. I owe him that, but from a legal perspective, he and I are squared away. But want to answer also any questions. I think there's one other action item related to bond council. We went with some folks at Butler Snow that provided an outside opinion, making sure that this project is tax exempt on the lease purchase financing.
I'd like to go through those more. The item B, the choosing hiring of professionals. Initially, this project had a different way of being done. It was going to be a third-party entity created temporarily, and the bond council was all going to be on Pat's side. Now it is moved over to our side, and it's their bond council. That's why you're seeing Butler Snow. But the costs were adjusted, so they were not costing us anything. I think they adjusted their price down or something. They're still more or less carrying that cost of that. But we are choosing Butler Snow. We're choosing a while, we're choosing a different contract. The second one, financing bid, we're asking you to choose B&A Bank, 2.3%, 17 years. There was another bid. What the name of that?
I don't recall.
Yes.
Is it People's?
It was a national bank, frankly, I thought it was going to be.
FMB, yeah.
Okay. And it was over 3%. so it's a wide margin. And then that last one, the approving the contract, given that, there are parts of that not fully submitted, I would just ask that you make that motion, subject to approval of the parts that are not yet submitted.
Okay, say that motion again. You want us to-
Well, you might want to go one by one. Number one is merely approve the resolution for hiring professionals.
All right, we need a motion to approve the resolution for hiring professionals. Got a motion by Keith, a second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Madam Mayor, can I add something?
Sure.
And I know Keith could ask a question, or we talked about this, taking time to figure it out, but there's some improvements we want to get out of the project, we talked about it, the dollar amount that's involved.
Yes.
We may want to change what we want to improve. There were some lights down Bankhead Street that we may not want to go all the way with.
Yep.
We were able to put some money on Park Plaza.
Yeah, so, Alderman Conley, you had mentioned Park Plaza. Bill and I discussed it. Let's, maybe, as a course of action, let's put up the new lights and see how those spread out and those shed light on the roadway. And if we come back and do what's called photometrics, so we'll measure the light levels, see how much light is actually hitting the road. If I come back to you guys and say, hey, we suggest that you maybe add some more lights, or maybe you don't, based on the new ones, let's address that then. But let's go ahead and change out the ones that are out there, and then address and adding some lights as a good idea.
He's talking about putting the lights on the poles that's out there. They're kind of far, but he thinks he can.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'd be anxious to see what they do with that.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and change them out to what our engineers have suggested. I mean, they've engineered it to throw more light on the roadway versus what's out today. What's out today is just glows, right? Those lights always, we're just gonna try to put on the roadway. And if we need to improve those, we can come back and come up with a solution.
To your point, Bill, if we do that and we're still not satisfied and we want to do something on Park Plaza, the part that you're talking about on Bankhead, are we not gonna do that and kind of hold off, or?
Yeah, so the original proposal was to take from the bridge, from Bankhead, all the way down to Third. Yeah, city limits. Was to improve the arms and the aesthetics of those arms. They're little, some of them are drooping. Let's get some consistency with those. Bill and I discussed it, and maybe that we just give about half of that, right? Not all the way out to the city limits, but about half of that, and just move some of that money around within other areas of the project, and we can get creative with it.
And then if we decide we're happy with Park Plaza, then we can finish it out.
100%. Yeah, we're flexible on that.
Okay.
All right, item C, resolution for financing bid that was sent to you. You're approving the resolution for B&A Bank to 100% submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Amy, have a second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And the resolution for the agreement itself has been reviewed, but there are some exhibits that have not, so that would be subject to approval of those items.
With Pat?
Right.
Okay. Y'all understand that? Got a motion by Keith, do I have a second? Second by Amy. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Mr. Russell, I got one question.
Okay.
Do we need to come back in May in order to get those approved? At this point, those are just that's just technical information.
They've been approved subject to me giving you permission to sign off more or less.
Cool. First of all, thank you for allowing us over the last, golly, how many months? It seemed like we've been working on this project. Next steps. So I've got to work with folks over B&A, Bo and Mike and Tyler, close the financing. That's going to take 30 to 45 days. Finish up the contracts with Mr. Russell. We're going to come out and either, if you guys want to, we're going to do what's called mock-ups. So we'll put 3 or 4 lights in a couple areas so you guys make sure you're okay with how they look. Then we'll order materials. I believe the fire chief is saying materials right now. The cost isn't going to go up for you guys, but lead times are extending out. And so as soon as we're able to make sure everyone is okay with how they do several of the areas of the lights look, we'll order materials. That can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. 1,400 lights for you guys. I'm thinking 6 to 8 weeks. So it's pretty quick once we get going. I'll be, I plan on coming to everyone else's board meetings just to give y'all an update. Any questions that y'all have. Your residents, your wards may have questions on, hey, my new light, is it putting as much light as the old one used to? Why am I getting a new light? We can help answer those questions. You can send them our way. Y'all have enough headaches with it. Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
everything.
Okay, next item on the action agenda is spray party opening Eric, you wanna update us a little bit on the condition of the slide?
Yeah, I had two companies look at it, Steel Code and research some companies outside of Pontotoc. They do a lot of water tower, refurbishing and stuff. And resurfacing come in at about $28,000 and Steel Code around $35,000 on just the repairs, just the slide part.
So what were you saying today, your recommendation?
Well, going back to the pump situation, we really need somebody that knows what they're doing to do that.
Yes.
I don't think we need to drop a lot of money in it just to get it open, this year.
We need to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So what all did the larger number include in your email?
Y'all had like 40,000 in it for a little month stuff or something like that, 40 or 50, something like that. So.
And that, you agree with that, I mean, that's what that'll be?
Probably so, if not more.
You said like 80 total, right?
Yeah. And, you might want to back up and look at, prices of dealers, grants and stuff.
Have you tried reaching out to any companies that deal spray parks to see?
I tried one guy, and he's out of Memphis, and he didn't, so I think we're gonna have to reach further out. To do something on it.
We just have to get specs written up, put it up for bids if we wanna do it even, but that's $300,000, I would say. That was right there, was close to three.
But I can try to research and see if we can find.
Yeah, we see what-
familiar with
Yeah,
them.
we're getting I'm getting calls about it's gonna be open this summer. I know there's a lot of kids wanting it, folks are.
I know, I hate to not open it, but then if we just patch it or do whatever for 80,000 and we waste our money, I mean,
Well, I'd say once we patch it and build a new pump house, it's gotta be the slide's what we wanna get done first, because it's kind of dangerous to get on.
Yeah.
And that's 28,000.
28,000, yeah.
That's just repair the stands for the slide to sit on. And the pumps in the house are probably 50, so yeah. I mean, that should,
So none of the pumps are working? No.
It needs to be redone.
It can, the way I understand it, can be rebuilt. I don't know this for a fact, but it can be rebuilt in ground just like it is now. But to really fix it, we need to get it up to when it floods, it won't damage all the equipment, because in ground when it floods,
And they want to build a little building
well,
around.
being above ground, but the heat down in that hole, when those 3 pumps is tremendous, so that's not good for them motors. They last a year or two, maybe. There's 5,000 build each one.
And I know people want it open this summer, but I agree with you, Eric, rushing it just to get it done and not being smart with our money, I don't.
And I'll start tomorrow trying to reach out to more people, but I think we're just gonna have to go, further outside and get some experience,
So does the spray park fall under Parks and Rec?
When we built that last one, out of tourism, the one that's there now.
We did, okay.
Yeah.
Tracy, not to get you to write another grant or anything, but I'm sure you probably, I figured you probably.
And I think we're gonna have a meeting with our national parks
Good.
representatives at the 21st, Wednesday.
Okay.
And we're gonna reach out to him about grant writing opportunities for that. He's the gentleman that's gonna try and get all of our parks and the connectivity situation, and that's a big goal for us, because it is a huge tourism attraction.
Yeah, it is.
And I talked to Lynn West about it a couple weeks ago. That slide is really what gets people here.
Oh, it is.
We're the
It
only
does.
place that has a slide in the area.
People come from everywhere.
So I think we would agree, not sure what else thinks, it needs a good revamping, maybe an expansion, but the money is the biggest.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the money's
But
not.
y'all are meeting before our next board meeting, you're gonna be calling out and, okay, so
We'll see.
yeah, maybe y'all can send us more updates and we can make it this way. I mean, I know kids want it, I mean, I get it, but we gotta do it right. That's my opinion. What if we can get some grants and what if we can get more money? I don't know. Is there any way that could fall under COVID relief? Probably
Can we
not.
get some burn numbers by next month and see if we get it open at some point, because they never did open until Memorial Day either. I mean, that's still, would throw it late.
I don't think we'll get it open.
We wouldn't get it open then.
Well, yeah, we could even open it later in July or something if we have to.
Probably most of the people that do this type work on the pumps and stuff, this is probably gonna be their busiest time of the year, you know. But we'll try to see what we do.
Okay.
The only thing about moving is just parking, because, it's been mentioned moving down to the community center, but, I mean, there's no parking.
Oh, I don't
think that's a good location, so, I mean, at least we can get the people out there if we can just get it repaired.
Yeah, it's gonna do, building new business.
So, anyway.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thanks, Eric. Okay, let's go to item F, is approve that Robin Lindsay as a municipal election commissioner.
Would she take the place of our current one?
Player Sailor couldn't because
He couldn't.
His son-in-law was running, so he's. So we got a motion by Keith, do I have a second by Mr. Williams? Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And this was not in here, but we want to get permission to pay them $125 for the day. So we'll have to get permission to do that.
So moved.
You have a motion by Amy, do I have a second? Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion?
We budgeted enough to cover that, right?
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay,
Can I ask
street.
a quick question? I'm
Okay.
sorry about this, just real quick. I know everybody's trying to go, the people that are running for office, sorry about this, but quick question on who decides if we have primaries or not? You know, if we just had one, I've just heard a lot of people during this election because people can't vote for mayor because they vote in the Democrat, you know, all that stuff. So is that something we would change as a board?
No.
Who changes that?
Well, it'd be the state of.
But some municipalities don't have primaries.
Well, they all, the ones that don't run independent.
Everybody runs independent.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I just wanted,
I mean, I don't know if the Republican or Democrat party will allow that.
yeah, because it's up to the parties.
Party,
Okay,
right.
okay, all right, that's it.
I'd like that too, but I don't.
Unless everybody ran
Yes,
it.
everybody read it. Okay, street overlay. I've got some price, well, I did get a price on Carter, Kevin Dale. And I got 2 cores in my office. And it's 5 inch of concrete and 6 inch of asphalt on top of it. So that's what's there now. It's steel, you know how it is. So they said to halfway fix it right, 800,000. If you're gonna fix it really right, 1.6 million.
I got a question for Terry. Who paved the street out there in that new development that you're doing?
The contractor that I used was AHS, Adam Stubblefield, but.
Does he get somebody to do it for him?
Yeah, the particular one that he used was Tri-Lakes, I believe, that did that one. I was actually.
The reason that came to mind is that's a small job, in my opinion. And we've spent 2 years talking about paving streets, and it's like we can't find anybody to do it. And I saw that you had gotten that paved just like that. And I thought, well, that might be, I mean, I don't even know if they'd do stuff for us, but it might be a possibility.
They would, and he would be interested in doing that. You know, that particular street, the surface on that street, which was the binder coat and the surface coat, I think was $52,000, I believe is what that asphalt cost was. It was about 534 tons. I'd have to look back at it and see, but it was $127.50 a ton, I believe, is what the final price wound up being. He works with a bunch of different contractors. One of the guys that is high up in his company used to work for Tri-Lakes and.
You said the name of it is Tri-Lakes or AHS?
Tri-Lakes is the actual paving company. AHS is the contracting company. That's the key to it, is getting a site contractor that can piggyback volume. We missed the plant shutdown in the winter, and we waited on paving when we opened back up because he had a Tractor Supply in Oxford that he was doing and I had my street, and then we had the car wash that we were able to do a coat on to get the tonnage right, but getting with someone like AHS or M&N Excavators or one of those groups that does a lot of work in Oxford and New Albany, they're going to be the ones that are able to piggyback volume from those smaller jobs to get it all at once.
So we haven't talked to them before?
Well, it just seems like that's been one of our issues. We can't find anybody to do our paving.
But AHS is not something we looked
But
at.
I don't know.
I don't know of them.
I didn't even know about them.
I didn't
But
either.
I just saw that street and I thought that was
6 or 7 different people that when I do those projects, I bid out to.
Okay, can you give us those names?
Yeah, I can give you all those contact names. They're from Memphis to Starkville and everywhere in between. But a lot of them are out of Oxford, Union County area.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Okay, all right, we already went over poll workers pay. Storm shelter discussion.
Was that me? Did I put that on there? I think so. I wanted, these last two, I and J, I would like them just to be on every time on the agenda, at least until I'm out of here, to make sure that we're discussing, because they're two big things. The storm shelter, what I was wondering is, the municipal building, did we talk about this at all? Is it gonna be a place that people will go to? I mean,
No, it's gonna have a safe room in it, but it'd be for dispatchers and, what's it called, Chris? Police, anyway, what's necessary to run the police department?
Yeah, the critical infrastructure.
Yeah, critical infrastructure.
Okay.
So it's not gonna be big enough for,
Okay, and then the fire department, we remodeled that, that's not gonna be big enough for anybody, okay. So we still don't have a solution to storm shelter, but I would like it to continue on the agenda, kinda like Snyder does, because it is something that is a huge concern for people in our
it
community.
is for everybody.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought about is if we can ever get the PD moved out of that building over here, that might be a potential
Really?
storm shelter.
Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, it's
Gotta be a good one.
it's
Nice place in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest structures in the
Get
city.
PD out of there where we could,
Yeah.
you know, we
And
might
it's
could revamp
historic.
that.
I don't know how many you put in.
Historic building, you gotta,
We put quite a few downstairs.
But anyway,
yeah, and then
Well,
there's
something to
that
think about.
space underneath Main Street that I mean, y'all still use that for storage though, right? I mean, there's storage.
That's a fallout shelter.
It's big.
Yeah,
But could it not be stormed?
yeah.
I think the issue Eric and I talked was handicap accessibility. There's no way to get,
Yeah.
But if it was one shelter though, and you had another, I mean, I don't know, and one that was handicapped, I don't really
in
know.
back.
But,
this is a problem.
yeah, they all may
You
have
wouldn't
to
make, it might, some way make the police department, I don't know.
have a ramp. Anyway, I'd like to have,
Handicap, I mean.
I think we just need to keep discussing storm shelter. And then animal control, we'll move that to next time, it's not done yet. There are some things that need to be revised, but it's not finished.
Okay. All right, anybody got anything else? Not entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Kevin, Dale, second by Johnny, all in favor?